So I will talk about the reason of using 5G in the manufacturing industry. My scope will be manufacturing industry and its agility. Industry require more and more flexibility. Why? Because there is high variability due to crisis, like problems occurring for semiconductors, war in Ukraine. Also, the marketing push to shorten the life cycle of products. Investitors push for a better use of the capital engaged, what we call the ROCE. And we could see in some industry, like semiconductor industry, some reshoring. But reshoring don't mean make things with a higher price. You should be competitive even if you're reshoring your industry. And as Cohen said, there's also a pressure from the marketing and coming from the consumer to have something done for him. So the customization, all these things and many more push for higher flexibility in the industry, in the manufacturing. So production organization must be easy to change, quick to implement, continuous adapt, and tolerant to some difficulties. So how to organize this production to make it easy to change? And so on this slide, you could see a picture from a worker in an OMRON factory. The worker here works as a craftsman. He coordinates many automated or robotic part of this cell by himself. So there's constraints, easy to change, quick to implement, continuous adapt, tolerant to difficulties. Is something like what we call the triple C model, in project management: communication, commitment, and change. How to achieve this in our factories? First, regarding communication and clarity. Each person, each machine is important. So in many application industry, it's very important to have a one-to-one communication, like a phone call. Wi-Fi is not a one-to-one. It's use different ways to communicate between 2 points. Here we need a continuous communication that should not be broken, and should not be broken by a change of access point. It should not be broken by a roaming problem. If you use a mobile application, as you could see here in the pictures, you could notice it's a mobile robot, autonomous mobile robot, plus a robot arm, plus a vision system.
And the point you're addressing, Gilles, is of course that Wi-Fi does not roam. Maybe not everybody in the audience realizes Wi-Fi doesn't hand over.
I will explain this rapidly. When you move something, you go from one access point to another access point, and the management of this change is called roaming. And in Wi-Fi, you could lose one access point without having another access point. So you could have a discontinuity that doesn't exist in 5G or 4G. So this aspect is quite important when you are in pharmaceutical industry, in a white room or gray room. They call it a ballroom. Why it's a ballroom? Because they have some flexibility, but it's a strict flexibility, like for a dance. You are following some rules. In those ballrooms, it's not afford to lose communication, because you need to know at every moment where are the things. Does the things are done in a right way? It's the same for semiconductor industry. You have some FOUP containing many wafer. Those wafer cost a lot. Is not afford to miss the communication with this FOUP containing this expensive wafer. You should be sure that the wafer is handled and go to the right machine. Same in aeronautics, when people are using a system to screw, they should apply the right torque, and everything should be track and trace at each time. So it's not possible to lose the communication due to roaming, to some issue with access point or bandwidth. So in many industries, it's critical to have a digital continuity. let's talk now about autonomous mobile robots, and I will compare it to AGV. AGV, if you want an image, is like a buses with its route. They should follow some lane. They have a schedule. It's something not so flexible, but it's work for many aspects in the industry. AGV are still important in the industry, but for some process, you need something which more like Uber. You can call it. It could change its priority. It could be flexible even among operators. So autonomous mobile robots bring you much more flexibility than an AGV. It adapts to your demands. It adapts to the priority, and among operators, and adapt also to the change of layout without difficulties. But as I told you, autonomous mobile robots are autonomous. They don't need Wi-Fi or coordination coming from a radio command. But to synchronize fleet of mobile robots, you understand that the best result is happens when you synchronize and coordinate all the fleet of robots. And to do so, we have a fleet management system who communicates to the robot in Wi-Fi. But in some industry, we shift from Wi-Fi to 5G. Why? Because some companies start to use the Wi-Fi for some application like virtual reality to support remote maintenance. But application of a 5G are growing. When you have this tool in your hand, you ask yourself, what should I do? What we notice at OMRON is we always focus on the OE of a machine, but OE of a machine is a result that come from other part of the factory. The good result is coming from a good synchronization between operators, intralogistic, and machine, and not only the machine. OE is a result. So we should take care of this good coordination between operators, intralogistic, and machine. With a big car manufacturer, OMRON made a study. We analyzed that 80% of OE decrease was due to the non-coordination of this loop between operator, intralogistic, and machine. So it's a very important fact to really synchronize this. And 5G help a lot in this area. Also, last aspect, but not the least, is cybersecurity. If a cybersecurity attack your IPC on the shop floor, block your industrial local area network LAN, then you are stuck. You need something different to communicate rapidly and not being injured by the cybersecurity attack. And here also 5G is very convenient. So to summarize, we propose 5G instead of Wi-Fi to some of our customers to have a large bandwidth and low latency, but mainly the main reason is digital continuity. It's the main reason to always check where things are and to have a continuous digital communication between our industrial means and the management of the operators. In 2 weeks, we will be at another fair, and on our booth, you will see a complete flexible manufacturing system coordinated through 5G and using a simulation, execution, and digital twin from Dassault system. So complete high-end set of flexible manufacturing at another fair. But what we could see today, we're talking about flexibility to adapt to the production needs. We think in OMRON that tomorrow we have a self-adaptive production, and we already test some implementation of this type of automation. So that's it for my presentation. If you have some questions, thank you.